This podcast is brought to you by Rise Make Life Workout, a health and self-development platform dedicated to helping busy, everyday Kiwis manage their physical health and upskill their mental well-being.
Through sharing relatable and practical content from health practitioners, as well as showcasing interesting stories from interesting people.
For more shows, content, events, and coaching, head to our website, www.rise-workout.com. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwan Salerio.
And I'm Sinead Behrman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth, and mindset.
Founder of one of the most successful bakeries in Auckland, delicious cakes and cookies that are so sought after that people line up for hours just to get a piece. This is the story of how Fankery came to be with creator and entrepreneur Cathy Fan.
But it isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Cathy dives deep on the hardships she has faced in transitioning from her comfortable engineering job to stress, burnout, illness, as well as the challenges she has faced in running her business and dealing with negative feedback.
I love these types of stories, the origin stories, because often on social media, we just see the tip of the iceberg, and this episode takes us on a journey of what's underneath.
Yeah, be sure to let us know your thoughts once you've had a listen, and make sure you're following along at the High Frequency Club on all your favorite audio platforms, as well as Instagram and YouTube.
Enjoy the show. Before we get into the whole Fankery, your transition from engineering and becoming an entrepreneur, take us through your upbringing to help us understand who we're listening to today.
Yeah, so hi guys, I'm Cathy. So I was born and raised in Auckland for most of my life, but my first 6 years was actually raised in Shanghai. So I was brought up by my grandparents, and my first language was, Mandarin. And then I came back when I was like 6.5, did primary and the rest of the schooling here, and went ESOL for English and things like that. And I remember very clearly, my childhood was my mom pushed me to do a lot of extracurricular activities, whether that was dance, piano. I played chess competitively. I just didn't have a lot of free time or fun time growing up as a child. And I think that definitely kind of built me up to be the person I am today, in terms of always trying really hard on the things that I do and being really competitive and things like that. Yeah.
And then when did you come back here?
I came back at 6.5.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it was only 6 years in Shanghai.
Yeah.
But it's I love those 6 years. I would say my grandparents are my closest people. And I always try to go back and visit every so often, every year if possible, and it's Shanghai is another home for me. Yeah.
You said that your childhood had no fun time or free time. Had that changed your relationship with your parents? Or did it influence it in any way?
I think it wasn't them forcing me. It was also a lot of I want to do this as well, and I want to do well in that as well, and they kind of just gave me the environment to do so. But I don't think it really affects my relationship with my parents, but I do think in certain circumstances, the way they communicate of these things with you, it could push a bit too far. Because there's one certain memory where I was meant to, win a chess competition. I didn't win. I got 6 or something. My mom stuck the leaderboard next to my bedside for an entire year to remind me.
Wow.
And you can imagine as a child, right? And so after that, I couldn't really play chess anymore because I was really scared of losing. If I was playing versus someone that's younger than me, I'll be like, oh, can I swear on this?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'll be like, oh shit, it was my heart couldn't handle anymore the fear of losing, and that just controlled me for the rest of playing chess, and that's why I kind of stopped playing chess after going into intermediate and high school. It was just too much for me, and now when I talk about this to her, she doesn't take it the right way, because for me it's I'm not blaming her at all. I just wish she supported me in a different way or encouraged me in a different way. But sometimes they would be like, well, you know, like if we didn't do that, would you have gotten first in other competitions? You know, they it's very much like, oh, if we didn't do this, you might not be like this. So you should thank us, you know? And it's not that I'm not thankful, but I think encouragement can come in different forms, and especially communication can come in different forms. And that's something like, you know, I need to absorb and learn and not pass it on to my kids one day. Yeah.
As an adult now, are you hyper competitive because of that, or
No.
do you still shy away from competitiveness?
I'm still competitive, but I'm selective, like when it comes to what I want to be. Like it's because back when you're competing for chess, it's like, well, you know, there's prize money, there's titles, there's a lot of that, and like you actually do want to win, you want to do and have good results, and also being like a female chess player, there's not that many of us, and I genuinely like playing chess because I remember when I was in Shanghai, that was when I first started. My mom's like, okay, well, there's a chess teacher that came to school, a kindergarten, and was like, did like lessons for everyone, you know? And like I told my mom, I was like, oh, I actually really like this. This is kind of fun. And so my mom was always like, well, you're the one that wanted to play chess. I was like, yes, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you were driven because of the joy and that you enjoyed it, but then like with that pressure, it probably took away some of that joy because you were like, shit, I have to win. And if I don't win, like...
Yeah, like I felt like a failure, you know? You just want to kind of impress your parents or like hear that they're proud of you or something, but they don't say it that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you selective about competing in now as an adult?
I don't think I'm like competitive in life anymore. I think it's more like, you know, if I do bodybuilding or if I do a specific show or a competition, then like, yeah, I would give it my all. I wouldn't just, you know, compete for the sake of competing, you know, because it's fun or something. I actually want to produce good results out of it, and I want to give it my all so that I don't have any regrets.
Do you feel you compete in business?
No.
With Fankery?
No, I don't think I do. Because I think as a small business, you know, things can get really difficult. And like, who am I competing against? Like, sure, there might be bakeries or whatever that are like my competitors, but they can buy from me. They can also buy from you. Like, I'm lucky that I don't have any specific business that, you know, directly make the same things as me. But like, I don't see why someone can't, you know, buy from a lot of different bakeries. And I think all small businesses, they should help uplift each other. They're unique in their own different ways, and that's how they thrive.
I love that. Before we jump into Fankery, how did you get into engineering?
So I actually left high school when I was at the end of year 12. And I was like accelerated in high school, started from year 9, and like I think at the end of year 12 I was just like, you know what, like I'll just apply for uni. Like I don't know if they do this, but I'll just apply. And so I applied for engineering and like food and nutrition, and I got on both of them. And the way I chose engineering was because I can't do English, I can do maths and physics, so like what else can I do? I do engineering. And then so I got in. And then I didn't do year 13, and I started uni when I was 17.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, 16. I turned 17 that year. Turned 17 that year. And I very much chose that degree by elimination process. I actually had no idea what engineering was really about. I was just like, I'm female. It's pretty male dominated. It'll be easy for me to find a job. That was one of like my thoughts back then. And I had no idea what type of engineering I wanted to do. I was really clueless. I just did it because I knew that based on what I was good at in school, I could probably do this degree. So I didn't really think too much into why I chose engineering. And then after the first year of general engineering, I decided to go with electrical because I had this conversation with like a professor, and he was talking about like electric vehicles and stuff. I was like, oh, this sounds pretty cool. I'll just choose that. And so I just kind of like went ahead with it.
And then what was the point where you were like, you know what, this might not be for me, or is it still for you?
No, I don't think it's for me. Like I think I did well in uni. You know, I did well in uni, and I enjoyed uni. Like I went on an exchange to Canada as well, and I did some internships that was really cool. And I enjoyed the whole process of uni. And even in the workforce, which I worked in for maybe like 2.5 years-ish, I don't hate anything of it. You know, it's very much like I go to work, I do my job, that's it. There's no more like, oh, you know, this would get me like interested in studying further or looking into things more. Like it was none of that. And the more I grew Fankery, the more like I was less driven to do my job. Like in the office, you know, I would be doing some sort of Fankery admin on the side, and it like took up the entire time. And it was like a tipping point where my ex-partner, like I moved into a new company, and on the first day I was basically complaining about like how much the new manager wanted us to like go into office, because this was very much still like a, you know, hybrid working type environment. And then he was like a very your typical traditional working guy, like wants everyone in the office every single day sort of thing. And obviously I had a kitchen to run, and so this was very much like secretive side operation. And so I couldn't, and I was just complaining, like I was like, man, I don't know how long I can do this for, you know. And he's like, to be honest, I can see you quitting a job in like the next 2 months. And I was like, you can't tell me that. Like, you can't say that to me. Like, I'm not quitting my job. Like, I just moved into this new company. I'm not quitting. And then, so I had a lot of withdrawal issues with leaving engineering, because to me, it's like I spent a lot of time in getting this degree, and there's nothing I dislike about it to make me kind of leave. And because I'm that sort of person, like, you know, I put a lot of effort into it, I've done well in it, like I just hold on to things, you know. And so it's very hard for me to accept that, okay, look, like this might not be it for me, and I can leave. And I can choose to do something I'm more passionate about. That took me a long time to like process and like accept for myself.
Yeah, that sounds difficult, because you weren't hating it.
No, I weren't hating it. Like, I know that, you know, in a couple of years, I didn't want to be like engineer, senior engineer, principal engineer. I very much wanted to move into like a more people role, like say project manager or like that sort of coordination stuff, rather than doing the design. I didn't really like doing the design stuff, but I didn't hate engineering. I didn't, you know, like dread going to work or anything like that. But Fakery was just so much more exciting, and because it's like your own thing, there's always so much to do. And less relying on like, you know, waiting for architects, waiting for mechanical engineers to get back to you, working with like asshole clients and shit like that. There's, you know, it's very much your own thing.
You have the autonomy and the freedom. Yeah. So it sounds like it was complacency versus excitement.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was more that was taking away your time for what you wanted to be putting your time into, which was your secret side hustle. Yeah, because like I think
classified.
Because I think I never started Fankery with the intentions of, you know, growing it as a business. It was not like that.
How did it start? So you were working as an engineer?
Yep, I was working.
Did friends just start hitting you up for baking?
No, not at all. So back in the days, like when I was a uni student, my mom would bake, because she's like a cook. She's like a bake. Like she just done a lot of experimental baking, and she's just grown to be very good at it. And me, being me, I like to share things online. And so I shared a lot of her bakes, and like we had an account called Cathy's Buns, because we sold polar buns. But that was during uni. And we sold buns, like bread and mooncakes, like for fun. But I never baked in any of it. I just, you know, took photos, helped her here and there. I never did any of the baking. It wasn't until 2021, I competed. There was that huge lockdown at the end of the year. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, that took everyone. Yeah. So what happened was I got really sick. So I got hypothyroidism, and so my symptoms were like fatigue and weight gain. So I went so the competition was like May, right? This lockdown stuff was like October. And when I competed, like my weight was like 48 kgs. It was like lowest I've ever been. And then I think start of lockdown was maybe like around 55. And then in a month, I went to 68 kgs.
Wow.
Because of hypothyroidism. And what it was like I never processed the stress that I was going through at the start of the year. Because that year I started my new job. I competed. I went through a lot of like family things in the sense that my grandpa passed away. And there's just a whole lot. And I thought I could just like take it on. But when lockdown happens, I think my body was just not processing. It was just a lot. And my weight rebounded. Like, and I was like, holy shit, what's going on? Like, why do I look so puffy? Like, I would wake up at 1 p.m. and I could just go back to sleep. That was how tired I was. I had no motivation to do anything. Like, I don't know, look in the mirror, I just feel like sad. And it wasn't until I did a whole bunch of blood tests and everything, realized that, okay, I was hypo. Then I went to see a specialist and, started taking medicine and things like that. And then I was like, because I've been in diet for a long time, right? Competing, everything, training. I was like, well, you know what? I'm already like this fat, like, how worse can it get? I might as well start experimenting with, the foods I've been really craving. And so that was when like, TikTok came and like Instagram came and you use social media more. And because I'm from like a Shanghainese background, we eat a lot of glutinous rice-based stuff, like your sticky rice, dumplings, like mochi, like things like that. And so I saw mochi cookies online. I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. Let's try that. And so that was the first thing I made. And then from then I made like brownies. And then like somehow I put a cheesecake and a brownie together with the mochi thing. And that was how I started baking. It was truly because food was my only source of happiness then. I had craved food for like, so long, and I finally kind of just gave up on my discipline and be like, you know what, I'm just going to take this time to do what I want right now. Like, and it also took me like a good 6 months to really process what happened and be like, look, I know you worked really hard to get to where you were and this shit happened, but you don't have to stay like this forever. You can heal, you can work your way back up, you can get out of this pit. Just give yourself time. And so I focused more on sleeping. I started going back to the gym like, maybe like 3 months later when everything opened, and being like, look, you're not here to look pretty, whatever. You're here to just kind of build your love for the gym again. And that was how I started baking on the side and just sharing that online. And that was how Fankery started. So Fankery was very much like a getaway from me at that point.
What hypothyroidism? What is that?
So thyroid is your gland here, I think, and it helps like regulates your functions. I don't really know. And you can either be hypo or hyper. So hypo is like, fatigue, weight gain. Hyper is like your heart would beat really, really, really super fast. Like you do nothing and your heart rate is like 180. And those people are like really skinny usually. So it's like 2 spectrums. And I was hypo. So it's not like cancer, but it also affects your everyday life. And so I was on this medication called TSH that boosts one hormone. And it took a couple of tries to get like the right dosage. And like 2 years later now, like I don't take the medication anymore, but I still go for like 6 monthly like checkups and blood tests and things like that.
Right. And that was all due to stress.
Yeah, it was largely due to stress. And I think it's quite common in females as well for that to happen. Because I think when I was competing as well, I didn't sleep that much. Maybe like 5 hours a night. Because I would wake up 5, go to the gym, go work, go cardio after work. And then get home, meal prep. And that was like a day. And that was like every single day. And then I, like in the weekends as well, like I was a City Fitness personal trainer. So I had like just a handful of clients really, but I didn't have any like personal time. I was just like, go, 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 go. If it's not training, it's like working, And at the time, like I didn't think it was normal, but I thought I had to do it. And because every day you wake up trying to look like, you know, you're seeing your physique change, and it was just like, you just want to make change happen, you know? So you don't actually realize how toxic that lifestyle was until now I reflect back on it. I'm just like, shit, like, I never should have competed it like that, you know? It wasn't a good time in my life either. Like, I'm proud of myself for pulling through and everything, but I could have waited. I didn't have to compete then. Yeah.
You have a similar story like that, don't you?
To a degree. I mean, I never competed, but did get caught in that loop of like just training all the time and eating less, and sort of downward spiral. Which kind of led to
because you see results, and then it just makes you like want to go further, right?
Yeah. And people's compliments as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, you're looking so amazing. Are you doing a comp? You're so lean. You're so jacked. And being like, no, but maybe I should. Okay. And I just sort of like kept going, and then it was just like you don't realize how much it's like consuming everything you do. Like all you think about is like when I'm going to get to the gym, and what am I going to do there, and then what am I going to eat or not eat, and
it's like it controls you in a way. Yeah.
So what's your relationship with your body now?
I think it's much better. Like I'm training again, and I enjoy training, but I'm trying to be flexible, you know? Like, I plan to go 5 times a week, but say if this week is really busy and I can't make that, you know, I can't make twice, like I just can't make it. I can't prioritize gym as my highest thing at the moment, and it's okay. Like, that's life, and I enjoy, you know, like being able to like eat out with friends or family, have a drink on occasion. I want that balance in life. And like, I mean, I work in a bakery. I have to taste my things occasionally as well. So yeah, I've just become a more flexible person. Yeah,
that's a big thing I tell all of my clients. It's better to be adaptable than it is to be resilient or rigid with the process. Like at the end of the day, taking care of your health is meant to support the most important thing in your life. Like for you, it's business, like many other my clients. Other people, it's their relationships or whatever it is. And that can look different from, you know, week to week.
100%.
There'll be times where you can hit the gym, you know, to your goal of 4 times maybe, and then there's other days where it might only be 2, and the other 2 sessions might look different. Might be just like a walk or something like that. But that's the main thing. Like, we're not trying to be athletes here. There are no Olympics. You know, no one's testing you. There's no podium at the end of the day. It's just how does your routine support the thing that is most important to you. Do you want me to open that?
And so much more. It's so much easier to be consistent with it if you are enjoying it. Like, it doesn't feel like a chore, and like there might be days where you're not feeling 100% and you're like, okay, I'm not going to go as hard or as heavy today as I thought I might. I might just go for a half-hour session, or I might just go for a walk, or like do a class or something. Like,
it's like an 80-20 rule, I tell myself.
And just sort of the focus being more like just sort of to move regularly, feel good.
Would you compete again?
Like, never say never, but definitely not now.
I say that, I'm like, I'll never say never, but that's a pretty close never.
It's just like if you don't do it as a living, it's really a lot. It's really a lot. Like, you have to be prepared to, you know, sacrifice certain aspects of your life, and like, sometimes that may not be the case.
Yeah, when I did it that one time, my entire life was pointed to that. It revolved around sleeping, eating, and training. And I'm like, there's no time for any of that. I just don't value that.
Like, you know, you probably still need to work, right? But you don't have that energy to work. Like, you need to see clients. You won't have that energy for your clients. Yeah, so it's like, unless I really, really want to, but like, it's like also, what am I trying to prove? Like, I can still look good, like, you know, I can still lean down or build and then lean down for like a photo shoot, or just because for summer or whatever the reason is, but I don't have to compete.
I want to circle back to the birth of Fankery. So you started off because it was an outlet at the time, because you had time and, you know, it was your source of happiness. At what point did you start selling?
And at what point did you be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna quit and go
pretty
all in?
Like I started selling pretty soon on the get-go because I already had the Cathy's bun page where, you know, we sold buns and mooncakes and stuff. So people were like, oh, cool, like new item kind of thing. But then we changed the name to Fankery because I can't have people tagging at Cathy's buns like all the time.
What do you mean?
Like,
because of the connotation of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
People are like, oh, so yum. And like, it's
I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we changed to Fankery, which is just my last name in bakery. And then I think it wasn't until around 7 months later, I started looking into commercial kitchens or like a space to bake outside of my house because there was like a limit to how much I can bake, you know. There was no efficiency to it either. And it very much seemed like there was opportunities to grow it. And I still didn't really see it as a business, I would say. It was still very much like, okay, this is a side hustle, but I can grow it. And I looked a bunch of places, and like the only feasible one was moving into where I'm in now, which is the Kitchen Collective. It's basically like a ghost kitchen. You know how when you have like those like office spaces where you can like rent for different companies? It's like that, but it's like different kitchens. Yeah. And so I just have like a little small like 23 square meter premise in there that's like our own private kitchen. Yeah. And it comes equipped with like oven, stove, a communal dishwasher. So that takes the costs out of, you know, my hands. It's not a cheap place to rent, but it comes with everything. And then I did the maths and I was like, look, if I just sold exactly the amount of cakes I was selling at home, it breaks even. You know, I still have my paycheck. Like, what am I, like, you know, if I don't do this step, I literally cannot grow. I can't make any more cakes, you know. And so I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. And then so I moved into the kitchen, and this was maybe around, this was October 2022. This is October 2022. This was when, and then so this became like, so after I moved in, I was like, shit, like, this is really West, like, no one wants to come here and pick up cakes. How do I reach people? And so, end of that year, we started doing markets, and yeah, that was how we started.
Well, what did your parents think about you leaving engineering?
So my dad was actually really supportive of me signing up to this kitchen. He's like, oh yeah, it makes sense, it sounds good, do it. But when they saw that, like, I was spending a lot of time at the kitchen and not really coming home, they were like, okay, like, no, like, engineering is your main thing. Baking is just your side thing, you know? And they very much referred it to as baking. Like, they've said to me on occasion, like, we didn't raise you to be like a baker. And I was like, you know? And I know they don't mean it like that, but they never saw it as a business. And so I didn't really see it that much of a business as well, because I never wanted to do business. I never expected myself to do business. It was just like so much change going on in my life that, like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me. But the more I grew Fankery, the more, you know, got seen online, the more I was just like passionate about it. And so engineering became less and less and less and less a priority. And I think my parents kind of got the gist that, like, you know, like, she couldn't really stay in engineering much longer because I was doing both jobs for like 8 months. And like, it was like, you know, I was like 1 foot on a boat and another foot on another boat and trying to balance. And I was like, it was not it. Like, my mental health was going downhill and my health was probably going downhill as well. And my parents, in the end, they just care about my health. They don't want me to go through the whole hypothyroidism again. And I had this chat with them that I was like, hey, like, look, like, I don't think I can kind of stay in engineering much longer. And they're like, yeah, we figure that out. And then I was like, okay, I'm planning to resign. And so what happened was last year, around April, I resigned. But the company offered me a sabbatical. And so I took a sabbatical for 10 months.
You're still on sabbatical?
No, I've left now.
Okay.
I've left now. Yeah, and it was kind of weird because I joined this new company because I was graduate engineer for 2 years, and then I moved into this new company, and I was like a professional electrical engineer. And then it was, not long. It was like 3 months into it that I was like, okay, I kind of have to dip. And then they were like, why don't you consider a sabbatical? And I was like, what's sabbatical? There's like basically unpaid leave, but you still get like, health insurance and all the benefits with the company. And so I was like, yeah, okay, why not? But in my head, I like don't have any intentions of going back. But I guess it was kind of like a safekeeping method if anything happens.
And they might have been hoping that maybe she'll change her mind and come
back.
Just give her time to think about it. Maybe she'll come back.
Yeah. So it was nice for the company to do that. But I remember even talking to my manager back in engineering as well. I was like, because he was one of the only people that knew about Fankery, and I was like, hey, I don't know I don't think I can do this much longer, because there was also some conflicts in the company as well. And that was also another reason that I left so soon. Like in my head, I thought I was going to leave, but not like 3 months into a new company. It was at least like give it a half a year sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there were some things that happened in the company that like kind of pushed me to the edge.
Yeah.
And but I talked with my manager that I had been with from my old company to my new company. So he moved with me, and he was like, "Look, Cathy, like if I was your age and I had a business of my own, I would very much be focusing on my business since it's doing well. You can come back to this workforce anytime. Like, you know me, you know other engineers, you've done well. You can come back anytime if you want to. But you only have your business right now. And if you don't grow it, like, when are you going to do it?" And then I was like, yeah, but I've got this project that's like due in like a few weeks. I don't want to just like pass it on to someone. He's like, look, if you leave in the company, there's always going to be someone else that's going to do your work. But who's going to do Fankery's work? And I was like, oh shit, you're kind of right, And so I was like, okay, like, I'll do it then. I'll do it. And so I left.
Yeah. There's that quote that a lot of people say, that if you work for yourself, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Where we think that's absolutely misinterpreted. Because if you work for yourself, it feels like you're working 24/7.
Yeah.
And you're really transparent about that on your personal page. How do you manage not burning out and going back to that high stress zone that you had post bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Because I see your stories.
Yeah.
You're still getting like 5 hours sleep.
Yeah. See, I'm really not the best person to talk about not burning out. But I think for me, I become more in tune with my body, So I know that if I get headaches or if I don't have regular bowel movements, I need to take a step back and focus on sleep more, and just put everything aside and just sleep. And I'm also kind of like driven on stress at times, to be honest. I have this personality where if the week is really chill, if I don't have much going on, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I get that feeling at times, and sometimes that's why it's really hard for me to slow down and take it easier. I always feel like I have to just keep doing things. And and that's something I'm still trying to work on. But definitely this year I would say I've given myself more time. Like last year there was a period for 6 months when I just left engineering. I gave up everything to do with myself. Like I was like, I don't have time for gym. I don't have time to eat well. I'm just going to eat with family. Whatever leftovers they have, I'll eat it. Cake scraps, I'll eat it. I don't care about my diet. I don't care about nutrition. I don't care about anything. It's like 100% all in Fankery, I was like, I can't spend money buying groceries. Like, I have no money. I wasn't struggling, but I just had that mindset that Fankery was everything. And it wasn't long till I realized, wait, no, that's not the right way to go about it. Like, if my health or like my mental well-being physical well-being is going downhill and Fankery is going uphill, like one day I'm gonna crash, and then who's there to run this business? I have to grow with Fankery hand by hand, and that was like a reset for me. And I was like, and I think at that point I already I built like a team where I could leave the kitchen more and more and trust my team to do the operations and things like that. And so that's when I started picking back up my own like health, going back to the gym, eating better, spending time with friends. I started picking these things up more, and I'm still doing that as well. And I think I can't, like, I'm still on the journey to find like real balance, but I think it's been good progress. Yeah.
We saw that you were in Wellington for a pop-up not too long ago, and you posted a story of this long ass fucking line.
Yeah.
And then you had to go out and tell them, guys, I've sold out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then you shared screenshots of anonymous screenshots of people expressing their disappointment. How do you deal with, you know, feedback, especially the negative ones?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Fankery, well, obviously, it is a part of you. Therefore, even I can't help but take my business personally.
Yeah, of course. I think, like, I've grown a lot in taking negative feedback. When I used to take negative feedback, like, say, a year ago, I took it, like, personally a lot heavier. And I would spend days and days thinking about it. Like, how could someone say something like that? You know, like, have you thought about my point of view? Like, I'm just human too, things like that. But you have to learn to, like, self-regulate your feelings, you know? I think with any negative feedback, the first thing is to acknowledge what they've said, and then be like, yes, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, yes, I agree with you, but here are the reasons why. And people just want to be reassured, and people just want to be heard. And I want to tell people that I do hear you, but at the same time, we can only do so much. We always try our best, and we learn from, you know, every pop-up. We're always going to be better than our last one. And I know also that the real ones are the ones that matter for Fakery, and I will always be there for them. And sometimes there are just, you know, shit people that you have to deal with and stuff, and that's the case for, you know, any line of business. But they're not my focus, and I will focus on the people that do matter for Fankery.
I feel people forget that with small businesses, that, like you said, you are human, and that's usually like there's only a handful of humans like trying to mass produce multiple cookies and cakes and that kind of thing. Because I know Moustache, like, she posts that a lot when she gets like negative feedback, and she's like, hello, you do realize, like, I have a team of 10, we're trying to, like, we're not a mass production line.
We're not like a packaged small, like, Cadbury cookies, you know?
So it's like we can't just like mass produce like thousands a day. Like, therefore there's times where if we run out of a certain local product that we can't source elsewhere, we will have to, like, stop our online orders for a day or a week or whatever, or certain things that happen, and yet there's always just negative feedback that you just think, oh my gosh, like
some people make really entitled comments, and it's just really, like, unnecessary, because I think I totally get that there's disappointment, because I would feel disappointed too, you know, if I had like been really excited about this pop-up, and I go there and, like, I line up, and then it happens and runs out. Like, I really get that. But there's also some people that, like, you know, feel disappointed, and they really make kind of like a scene about it as well. Because I've had the similar situation back in Christchurch last year, where, again, it was a really long line, and the first two customers that, like, kind of were cut off, they did not take it well. They were basically going against everything that I was trying to explain. I was like, yes, I'm so sorry, like, we just ran out for today, but please come back tomorrow, because it was a 2-day thing. And they were like, yeah, but we waited for an hour, like, the people in front got it, why did we not get it?
That's how running out works.
And then she's like, well, why couldn't you, like, tell us earlier that you guys had, like, low stock? And I was like, look, like, it's our first time literally in this location. We're all running around, not knowing what's going on. We kind of just realize as it happens, and that's when we tell you guys. It's not that we don't want to tell you guys we're holding anything. And then on the other hand, it's like, you know, how is it possible for me to run out, like, hi, I have 50 cakes left. Hi, I have 30 slices left. I don't know how much, you know, each customer is going to buy. And I would always need to think of my, like, business as well. Like, if I say this, we have 50 slices left, people are like, oh, we don't have a chance. Everyone leaves. Well, what's it like then? You know, there's all these things that I have to consider. So there is really no perfect solution. And so that customer was like arguing back and forth like a solid 5 minutes with like 50 customers watching, until like a really nice customer was like to the other person, was like, hey, look, like please just show them some respect. Like they literally flew from Auckland, you know, doing all of this pop-up thing. Like they ran out, like, you know, just come back earlier. But like, and I was like, man, like thank you, like just because I had tears in my eyes trying to like convey what I was trying to convey. And she was like, I understand, but and I was like, you don't understand. And so we can get customers like that. But I mean, those are like the 1%ers, you know? And over time, I've just learned to really not focus on it. Like, it's hard, of course. It's usually just that 1% that like really hurts you and you think about it for days. But what is the point of me wasting time thinking about this? There's so much more things I can think about and focus on.
What is your advice for people who are going to come see you at a pop-up and don't want that to happen to them? What should I do?
I don't want to tell people to like, you know, come early. Like there was
come early.
Yeah, like it's like I really, that's why I even with pre-orders, maybe do pre-orders, yeah. So we always try to do pre-orders for any market or pop-up if we can, just so it kind of give us an allocation of like, okay, how much stock we should bring. And back in summer, we can't bring that much stock because say it doesn't sell for 4 hours. I'm here with like a melted cake. What am I supposed to do with it? You know, I can't, there's those things that I have to think about. But if you pre-order, you will definitely, you know, get your hands on something for that day. And so I do recommend people pre-ordering. I also have customers that's like, oh, but I like being in line for like, it's just fun. It's like excitement. And I was like,
the experience as a customer experience.
And I was like, okay, sure. But I can see why. It's like a very fast-paced, buzzy, and like, yeah, like, because like we do try to bring as much stock as we can, right? But it just really depends.
Yeah.
So pre-order.
And there's separate lines, right?
Yeah, and come as early as you can.
Well, I think that like if a market says like, you know, it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. like I'm not going to go at 12:30. Like I'm going to try and go there early to know that by 12:30 most of the stalls are probably going to be pretty low on their stock because they're going to have a busy day. And yet the last time I was at Matakana, same, I'd got there late with friends, we were just passing through and we just thought, oh, we'll go have a look and see what's left. And yet there were people like having you know, getting their knickers in or not, like abusing staff because it's like, oh, what the hell, you've got nothing left. And then it's like, well, duh, because it's nearly 1 o'clock. Like these markets close at 1. Like, obviously they've had a busy day and they've got nothing left, but people are just like, oh, well, what am I supposed to get then if you've got nothing and they've got nothing? And it's like, well, you should have come earlier, sir.
You just want to uppercut someone, eh?
But I like to say, like, I think majority of my like customers are just really nice. Like, even if they come and they miss out, they're like, oh, but we're so happy for you, doing so well. And like those comments really make my day.
Your real ones. You always, your real ones are the ones that, like you said, will support you no matter what.
And I think that's like that's what I love about Fankery is like this, like we're building kind of like a community. And like even like on the streets sometimes I would bump into customers here and there and I get to chat with them and like, you know, learn a bit more about them. And I love that. I really love that. It's just how some people actually really do follow the journey and follow what I share, and like it's crazy to me, to be honest.
I think you're doing a really good job marketing wise as well about letting people in on behind the scenes. I think that's real valuable. What do you think Fankery needs in order for you to continue growing and also keep up with the demand?
I think we need a store.
Ooh, exclusive. And can you talk about that, or like what's the go with that?
I hope, like we're talking, we're negotiating some things right now. Nothing is confirmed, so I can't share too much.
Alright.
But I hope by this year, because I feel like with pop-ups and markets, you can only do so much, you know? And it's also quite tiring for me. Like every week I have to think of like, okay, where are we going next? And then there's always going to be like a 3 a.m. wake up for that day. And it just gets really tiring because every week is something different, something new, and I have to plan for it. And then a whole bunch of, you know, new admin because of that. Everything, every one of them is different. But a store is going to like change the workflow of things. It's going to change how we operate in a lot of ways. But in my head, I'm always like, if I don't have a store, I'm not building a physical brand. Like, it doesn't matter how, you know, popular or how much people like us. When people want to buy or people come overseas and want to try us, they can't. It depends on how we operate, where we open. If you want, say, like a cake slice today, I don't have it to give it to you. You know, I don't have.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
They can only find you at a market.
Yeah, or they can
order
do custom orders, like say birthday cake celebrations, but they're very much like whole cakes. I don't have like a slice on the daily for you to buy.
Okay.
Yeah, and that means I'm like not reaching a lot of people as well. And I also want to give people the experience, you know, like come in, have a drink, have a cake, or have a cookie, whatever it is, and like catch up with a friend. And I want to be able to host people in our premise. And yeah, and so I want to build a store that I would love, you know, be excited to visit, take photos in.
Instagrammable.
Yeah, like build a brand, and that's what I need, a store.
And with the like just the shop, or the shop and the kitchen and full, everything will be then on the one.
So I after doing so many pop-ups and whatnot, the kitchen and the shop definitely have to be together.
Yeah.
There is just so much logistics with transporting food if they're like apart, and with Auckland's traffic, it does not work. If it does not work.
What would you want people to say after they have experienced Fankery? How would you want them to describe their experience with your brand?
I think what we offer is quite unique, and I hope that when people try it, they feel intrigued and they feel like, oh my god, this is like a fusion of, you know, different cultured foods, and this is like an experience. Like, I'm having a dessert, but I'm having an experience. I want people to feel it. I want people to feel just as happy as I did when I first put the things together, you know? That's what I want people to feel.
We have 2 more questions before we finish. First one is, where can people find you and Fankery if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so we are mostly on Instagram. It's at Fankery, which is Fankery, underscore, yeah. Someone took Fankery, I don't know why.
You might have to buy that back. Yeah, buy that back. I bet you they're holding on to it too.
Yeah, that's where you can always flick us a DM if you have any questions, comments, concerns. That's where you'll find us.
Cool. And last question. Did you have any more?
No.
Last question. If you could talk to Cathy Fan, who was going through the illness of hypothyroidism. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. If you could talk to Cathy Fan that was in the midst of all that, what would you tell her?
I tell her that, like, that wasn't the end, you know? When, like, there's more to life, and that when you think, like, life, when you think it's, like, the bottom pit of your life, it's not unless you say it is, you know? So if you think you were at pit low, you can turn that around. It's up to you. I could have stayed like that forever, you know, just be sad and like be like, why is my life like this? Or I could work on or I could work on changing my life around and tell me that there is hope to bring back the good things in life. And because, like, I remember so clearly when I was sick that I was like, life is so unfair. Like, why is this happening to me? And I really focused on the unfair part, the things I couldn't control. But the thing is that I am in control. And I am in control to change my life around. And so when you manifest that and when you work on it, you start to see things getting better. And it's like, without me going through that, I don't have the life I have right now.
Cathy Fan, everybody.